Okay, so this is the end result of our maple wheat bread. And I've sprinkled some sesame seeds on this one because I really enjoy the nutty flavor. And this is what the bread looks like. The top of the bread, and underneath the bread, you can see the lines that each of the parts created. So this is what it looks like. And then I'm just going to break off a piece of the bread now, just to show you the inside. So that is basically the loaf, and believe me, it's so hot. I just took it out of the oven. So this is basically what the bread looks like. I hope you will try this recipe, and if you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment and let me know what else you'd like me to make for you. Thank you so much for watching. Okay, so what you have in this container is 1 cup of warm milk. It should be safe enough for a baby. 1 3-gram packet of yeast, dried yeast, and 1 tablespoon of sugar. Let that rest for 10 minutes before you move on to the next step. Okay, then add 3 cups of flour. So I decided to add 1/2 cup of French bread flour to increase the amount of gluten that I have to work with within the mixture. So now I'm going to add 100 grams of slightly melted butter. So there are some hard pieces in there. So 100 grams of melted butter. Two eggs. Egg number 1. Egg number 2. I'm trying to decrease the amount of salt I use actually, so I'm doing quarter less. So I'm adding 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. And I'm going to add 1/2 cup of maple syrup. A little less than half, just a little less than 1/2 cup of maple syrup. All right, so just mix. I'm using my knife to mix. So I've added 1/2 cup more of flour, and I'm just going to mix it so that, right, this is the consistency you want with your flour. All right. All right. Still a little bit too soft, so I'm just going to add some more flour, and I'm adding wheat and not the bread flour. All right. So your dough should be soft, but not too soft and too sticky. You should be able to lift up the entire dough at the same time. So I would encourage you to make this dough just before you need to do something else, because you're going to have to allow this to sit for at least 1 hour to get so the yeast can do its job and the bread can raise to the level that it needs to raise to. All right, so this is what I'm going to work with in terms of consistency. I touch it, it's not so sticky, just a little bit sticky, but this is it. So now the next step is to put the dough in a lightly greased container and allow it to sit for about 1 hour for the dough to double in size. All right, so if you have a spray can, go ahead and use it. But if you don't have a spray can, go ahead and pour some olive oil in your container, just like I did, and just use your hand, or if you have a pastry brush, just brush the oil all over the container. So we do this because we don't want the dough to stick to the sides of the container. We want it to remove itself very easily. So we just put some oil on the sides of the container and then we put the dough inside. All right, so we're gonna allow the dough to rest for 1 hour, minimum 1 hour. So if you need to go to the supermarket, run an errand, do some shopping, I think that this is the best time to make the dough, just before you go, and just allow it to rise while you are busy doing whatever it is that you're doing or you need to do. All right, so this is the dough. I'm just going to put it in a little ball and allow it to sit in this container for 1 hour. You can cover it with 3 different things. You can cover it with some saran wrap, which is the option I've decided to use. You can also cover it with a damp tablecloth, no problem. And some people also use foil paper. So any one of those methods that you want to use, feel free. All right, so just cover it and leave it for minimum of 1 hour, maximum 2 hours, and get the job done. So this is the first part of our bread making, and we just leave it there for 2 hours and we have nothing else to do. All right, so my dough rested for 2 hours. As you can see, it has doubled in size, and the next thing is to just punch, get rid of the air. Okay, and remove it from the pan. But you're going to remove it to a lightly dusted surface. So let me dust my surface with a little flour. Right, and then you add your dough. So this is basically finished. I'm just going to slice it in half. This is the knife I used earlier. Slice it in half. All right, again, I'm trying to go for about 16 pieces. So that's what I'm working on here. All right, about 16 pieces. So far that's 4. And 1 more. All right, so I'm just going to cover this dish. When I use this method, I don't need any oil or anything, just the paper is enough. All right, so now we're just going to get the dough ready. So take one of the slices in your hand and just mush it together in a circle. All right, just put it together in a circle. You don't need to worry about how it looks, because that is not important for when this bread bakes. All right, so that's number 1. This is a smooth side, this is the rough side. I'm going to put the smooth side down. All right, what this does when you use the smooth side is that it gives the bread texture on top, or the roll on top. All right, texture. So just go ahead and do this. If you have children, this is a good time to, you know, get the children involved in the process. Just put it together like this, and it's very simple. Remember, the smooth side goes to the bottom. And just pack your container. If you have a square container, please go ahead and use the square container. I'm just using the container I have, and this is it. The only thing we have left to do is to cover this and allow it to sit again for 30 minutes, and then we can pop it in the oven. All right, just let it rest for another 30 minutes and voila, you are done. All right, so I've gone ahead and prepared a square container this time. And just for the fun of it, I decided to change the shape, so I cut them in squares, and I'm just going to place them in the container about 1 centimeter apart, and just, you know, go ahead and do something else in the next 30 minutes that you are waiting. So now that this has rested, and it has rested for an hour because I was busy doing something else, I'm just going to paint it with some egg white and then put it in the oven for 25 minutes and then show you the end result. All right, so lightly brush the top of your bread with some egg white, and this would cause it to get a really, really nice golden brown color. All right, if you don't want to add this process or this step, that is also okay. It will still be brown and nice, but it won't have a sheen. All right, this will give it a nice sheen. Just gonna baste the top of this with some egg white. So this is the end result of the bread. Guys, it is so soft. It smells so good. It tastes so good. You know, home baked, warm bread. This bread is perfect. This bread is perfect. Look at that. Wow. I think you should try this recipe. I think you should definitely try this recipe. The wheat and maple syrup roll. It's so good. It is so good. You must try this.